Good evening. This is Pastor Kevin Lindley in Winston, Oregon. And it's the 2nd of April. It's my mom's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom. And today we're going to go ahead and dive into the Holy Spirit Chronicles, part 11. And let's just do this. A new worldview. In the last paragraph of yesterday's devotional, I stated that the religious spirit is the enemy of God. This is very true. Religion proclaims one thing and practices another thing. Religion is about controlling others for selfish gain. Religion is also about the comfort in the way things have always been, not ever wanting to change. So much ugliness comes out of the spirit of religion. Let me differentiate between the religion and from Christianity. Religion is man working his way to God. Christianity is having a relationship with God. The work of Jesus Christ's death, burial, and resurrection paved the way for a restored relationship between us and God. We have a new worldview, a view that God has, not as the world perceives. What Adam lost in the garden was relationship and closeness with God. With Yahweh, Jesus Christ restored God's worldview to us. We can see what God sees and know what God knows and understand as God understands, to feel what God feels, to hear what he hears. Yes, we have the mind of Christ. In 1 Corinthians 2:16, the New King James Version, it says, "For who has known the mind of the Lord that he may instruct him?" In other words, God. But we have the mind of Christ. Very important truth. Saul of Tarsus was struck with blindness in his conversion on the road to Damascus. And it's an illustration of Saul's religion and how he was blinded by his own religion. Saul was a great example of religion gone amok, gone wrong. Saul was completely committed to defending God, taking up an offense God did not have. Jesus has big issues with religion. Jesus has always had issues with religion. To those who have been sold out to hypocrisy, the religion of hypocrisy, Jesus called those who embraced religion whitewashed tombs, unmarked graves, dead man's bones. Jesus seemed to afford every opportunity to pick on religious leaders of his day. In Luke 11:37 through 54, there's a story of Jesus as a guest at a Pharisee's house to have dinner. The Pharisee noticed that Jesus didn't wash his hands before the meal began, and he called it to the attention of Jesus. Jesus returned and cut loose with a scathing rebuke of the Pharisees and the scribes who were having dinner with him that night, with this phrase, "Woe to you!" In this discourse, Jesus' sarcasm was thick, an obvious hatred for the religious institution that had replaced relationship with God for the traditional works of the law. In another place, Jesus states, "You have a fine way of setting aside the commands of God to honor your man-made traditions over God." In John 8:43 and 44, Jesus makes a statement that's pretty eye-opening. "Why is my language not clear to you? Because you are unable to hear what I'm saying. You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desire. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there was no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies." Wow. So the religious people and leaders of Jesus' day were following their father, the father of lies, Satan himself, and were deceived in their concept of who God was. They thought God was all about religion. and keeping good religion was important to them. In order to shed the religious spirit, there must be a radical encounter with the Son of God. When Paul said, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind," he knew exactly what he was talking about because it had happened to him on the road to Damascus. And how about the phrase in John chapter 9, verse 25, "I was blind, but now I see." This is Pastor Kevin with the Holy Spirit Chronicles. It is Thursday night, April 2nd, and once again, happy birthday, Mom.